Hello and welcome back to Tinderloss Gaming, and welcome back to my playthrough of the Edge of the Earth campaign from the Arkham Horror living card game from Fantasy Flight. Currently playing through the to the Forbidden Peaks scenario, taking a slightly different approach to this scenario. Rather than doing it all in like a 3 or 4 hour video, I've broken it down into 2-hour segments, hopefully to make it a bit easier for people to just catch up on when they get some time. If you're enjoying this format, then please let me know. If you preferred the sort of full-on 3 or 4 hour episodes, then let me know. I'm happy to do either. I just thought I'd try a different version, different way of doing things. So this is the to the Forbidden Peaks episode, and we can go to the table now to see whereabouts Monty and Danny are. So where we left off, Monty had managed to take out the Terror of the Stars. Daniela's been pushed back a couple of times down the mountain through a couple of avalanches, but she's managing to claw her way back. We're about halfway through, or halfway getting up to the summit, but we've only got 6 turns left really from the agenda. We're 2 of 8 so far, and the act is telling us get up the mountain, get to the summit. So we're in a pretty good spot, I would say. We've taken a bit of a beating, but we've got stuff out. Monty's got his bullwhip out. He's got his magnifying glass. Daniela has got her ever trusty sledgehammer and survival knife out because of bandolier. She's also got a guard dog in play. So all in all, we're in a pretty decent position. The general principle here is to clear all of the clues off each location before you can move to the next one. So yeah, we're in a pretty good spot. So where we left off, we finished the upkeep phase. So we're going to go straight now into the mythos phase. And we're going to put a doom on the agenda, which takes us to 3. I'm using the lovely LCG tokens to mark all of my bits and bobs. Thoroughly recommend you picking those up. I'm not sponsored by LCG in any way, shape or form. I just think the tokens look really good on the table and really pop when you're playing the game. So that's it. So we checked the agenda. We're 3 of 8, so we're all good. So we then go on to drawing the ever great mythos card, or the encounter card for each of them. Monty, being our lead investigator, is always going to draw first. So he's going to draw a hanging on the edge. Test agility 3. If you fail, take 2 damage, lose control of each expedition asset you control, placing at your location, and move to the location directly below you. You can really see the theme that the designers have gone through for this. They're pushing you down the mountainside every opportunity. So this is a fairly good one for Monty. I don't want to jinx it too much. So agility 3. He is agility 5. The way the Chaos Band's been playing, though, I'm going to want to get that agility up a little bit. So what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to be able to use them because I've got Lucky Cigarette Case in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play an Eon chart and an Eon chart to give me +2 agility. So I'm at 7. 7 versus 3, which I will take. Where's my Chaos Bag gone? Oh, it's down it. 7 versus 3, and we are going to get a -X, where X is your location. So we're at location 2. That's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 2. So -2. We are good. He passes. He can hang on to the edge. And now Daniela is going to get. Oh, she's going to get another monster, another constricting elder thing, which is 3-5. X is his health. It depends on its location, so it's 1 health. And I can't move to other locations whilst it's above me, whilst that's in play. Okay, so she can deal with that. But again, it's eating up actions, which I don't really want to do. But I'll put that there. on top of the treachery that's in play. Okay, we're going to move on to the investigation phase. First things first, I think Daniela can't afford to take the 2 sanity, really. I only play it as my first action. I've got a scene of the crime in play where I can get 2. If I was to move, I could get 2 clues off of it, but it has to be my first action, so I can't do that. So I think the first things first, she's going to just smack the elder thing with her sledgehammer as her first action. It's fight 3. She is currently fight 5. If she hits with the sledgehammer, she's going to go to 6. 6 versus 3. Don't need to chuck a vicious. I will chuck a bandolier in to make her 7 versus 3. 7 versus 3. 7 versus 3, and we get an elder sign, which is if you're attacked by the enemy this round, you automatically succeed. Doesn't really make any difference. We do win it. We do the damage to it. Does 2 damage, which is more than enough to kill it. That's her first action. Her second action. Her second action is going to be to move to join Monty. And her third action is going to be to spend a charge off of my mineral specimen to investigate with a base of 5. She is so 5 versus 2. I don't think she's got anything that she can chuck against it. She has got a scene of the crime. Don't think I'm going to do that though. No. 2 versus 5. She gets a -4. If you fail, the nearest elder thing moves towards you. There's no elder things in play. So she fails, unfortunately. Okay. So that was her third action. 1 to hit, 2 to go up, 3 to hit. 3 to try and investigate. Okay. Monty's first action is going to be to investigate using obviously he's at 5. He's at 5. He is at 5. We'll do a straight 5 versus 2. A straight 5 versus 2. 5 versus 2, and we're going to get a 0, which is successful. Gets a clue off of that. Second action to do the same thing. Put that back in the bag. And we're going to get, dig for something, -1. -3. 5 versus 2, -3 was successful. Gets a clue off for the snow-covered crag. That was his second action. His third action is going to do the same thing. 5 versus 2. -2, we're good. And his fourth action is to do the same thing. Has Daniela got anything she can chuck in? I am, just in case, I'm going to chuck in the scene of the crime. Oops, scene of the crime from Daniela to give Monty an additional pip. So he's now at 7 versus 2. 7 versus 2. And he gets -X, which is 2. 0, 1, 2. Yep. So he gets the fourth clue off of snow-covered crag. But that is pretty much it. That is pretty much it. Okay, we move on to the enemy phase. There are no enemies in play, so we're all good for that. We killed everything. We move on to the upkeep phase. We ready all of our actions. We ready any exhausted cards, none exhausted. We are going to get a resource and a resource. And Ella needs to really be spending some of these. We draw a card, so Monty is going to get another Leo DeLuca. And Daniela's going to get an Aquina. That could be handy. That could be handy. She can spend some of her resources, get rid of Guard Dog, I think. Okay. That's it for the upkeep phase. We check our hand size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Daniela. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Monty. We're all good. So we move on to the Mythos phase. We put a Doom on the Doom. Doom on the agenda, sorry. So we're at 4. We need to get a Chevy on now. Here's the bit. Here is the bit. So Monty's going to draw his card and he's going to get a Hypothermia. Test willpower 3. If your location is 4 or 5, reveal an additional cards. Then it's not. It's currently at 0, 1, 2. Sorry, you can't see. 0, 1, 2. Okay, so willpower Monty is he is willpower 1. Has he got anything he can chuck in? He has not got anything he can chuck in. So willpower 1 against willpower 3. -1. Ouch. So it's -4. So -4. His willpower. So he goes to 0 effectively. No. Does it stop at 0? Or does it carry on? -4. So he's at -3. So I'm losing 3. I'm not going to put another ice taken in, so I lose by 3 because I think I can only go down to 0, so I lose by 3. So I will put a sanity on Avery. I'll put sanity onto Leo, and I'll take one. So I've taken 3. Oh, that's a nasty card for Monty, that one. Okay. And then Daniela is going to get Ice Shaft, Agility 3. Okay, she's Agility 2. She has got to take the initiative. So she'll play that in this phase. Commit to only a skill test you're performing, which it is an agility skill test. Take the initiative, loses a wild icon for each action that's been completed by any investigator this phase. Well, there's been none. So she's now going up to an agility 5 against 3. 5 against 3. Against 3. Gonna get. Hey, what does that do? +1, so 6 against 3. If an enemy attacks you this round, you automatically succeed. So that's fine. So she passes. She passes. There we go. Okay. That's it for the Mythos phase. We then move on to the investigation phase. Well, first things first, who are we going to go with first? Let's go with Monty. He's got more action. So he is going to spend all of his clues. To move up the mountainside. So he's going to go to there. And then he's going to the windswept path. Shroud of 3, no clues on it. Forced, after the windswept path is revealed, if it's at level 0, place 1 clue per investigator on it. After you move to the windswept path from a location below, place one clue on it. So, right, which is after the windswept path is revealed, if it is at level 0, which it isn't, place 1 clue per investigator on it. Forced. After you move to windswept path from a location below, place 1 clue on it. Okay, well this is quite good. This could be quite good for us. We could really make a move here. So that was his first action. Shroud of 3. I'm currently 5 with the magnifying glass. Let's go to 6. Let's go to 7 with Leo. I really want to make sure of this one. So 7 versus 3. 7 versus 3. We're going to get -1. Oh, you get game. Auto fail. That was his second action. Oh. I knew that was going to happen at some point. Wasted the Leo on that one as well. Never mind. Onwards and upwards, MB. Onwards and upwards. Third action. Going to investigate at 6 versus 3. Come on. 6 versus 3. We're going to get -1. And we're going to get an auto fail. and auto fail. Okay. Fourth and final action, investigate. 5 versus 3. 0. Halla frickin' Lulia. Okay, so that clears the clue off of the windswept path. It took Monty pretty much all 4 actions to just clear 1 clue off a Shroud 3 location. Anyway, moving on. Daniela is going to spend 2 actions to move twice. So 1, 2. Rocky Ledge. Shroud of 4. It's 1 clue per investigator. Forced after you move to Rocky Ledge from a location below it, shuffle the top card of the Taliki deck into your deck without looking at it. So that's going to go into Daniela. So that's the top card of the Taliki deck is here. It's going to go into her deck. And then we're going to shuffle. The cat whistle cut. That's her deck back down there. Her third and final action is she's going to investigate using the mineral specimens at a base of 5. Base of 5. So it's a bit of a risk. She's got nothing she can chuck in, but she might as well have a go. Just try and clear one of these clues off. We never know. The bag might be helpful to us. So 5 versus 4, and she's going to get a 0. She gets it. 5 versus 4 with a 0. Daniela's the clue getter. She's showing Monty how to do it. She gets a clue off the Rocky Ledge. Right, okay. That's it for the investigation phase. We go to the enemy phase. There are no enemies in play. We've killed them all. So we move on to the upkeep phase. We ready any of our cards, which we haven't exhausted any, so that's fine. Hang on a second. I've got Blasphemous Visions in play. Shuffle the... okay, hang on. So, there's a bit of a discrepancy here. Rocky Ledge says, after you move to Rocky Ledge from a location and below it, shuffle the top card of the Taliki deck into your deck without looking at it, which is what I've already done. But Blasphemous Vision says, resolve the effects of each Taliki weaknesses you draw an additional time. Well, I am going to be a bit gamey here, and I could be wrong. Please tell me in the comments if I am being a bit gamey. But Rocky Ledge specifically says you're not to look at it, therefore it goes into your deck and doesn't actually activate. Blasphemous Vision says you resolve them as you draw them, because usually you would draw them and look at them. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say Rocky Ledge overrides it. If I'm wrong, I apologise, but that's the way I'm playing it. Okay. Right, so yeah, we go into our upkeep phase, we reset our actions. We reset our actions, we ready any exhausted cards, we get a resource, and we draw a card. So Monty is going to get, oops, an in the know. And then Daniela is going to get a mechanic's wrench. Doesn't really need it at this point. We check our hand size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Daniela. And we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Monty. Okay, that's it for the upkeep phase. We then move into the mythos phase. We put a doom on the agenda. We're at 5 of 8. We could really do with a decent couple of pulls here. Okay, mythos phase. First one for Monty. He is going to get an Elder Thing Scavenger. Hunter, forced after it attacks you, discard the top 3 cards of your deck. It's a 3 fight, 3 health, and 2 and 3 of 8. Let me just see if there's anything that Daniela can do. Daniela is going to play let me handle this fast. Play after another investigator draws a non-peril encounter card. It's not a peril encounter card. You are considered to have drawn the encounter card instead. You get +2 to each of your skills whilst resolving the card's revelation effect. So she's going to take hold of that for Monty. And then she's going to draw her card, which is Polar Vortex. Attached to your location, when you end your turn at an attached location, each card you control with health takes 1 direct damage. Ooh, no, I don't want that. At the end of the round, discard Polar Vortex. Oh, that's gonna be a bit difficult for us, that one. That is not good. But she could move on. Okay, we then move into the investigation phase. Monty No, let's start off with Daniela. So it's got 3 health on it. So let's start off with Daniela. First action, she's going to fight with the sledgehammer. She's fight 5, 6 with the sledgehammer against 3. She'll chuck in a vicious blow, which gives her another plus. So she is at 7 versus 3. 7 versus 3. Seven versus 3, and we get a -1. A -1. So she's doing 1 damage. 1 damage naturally, 2 damage for the attack from the sledgehammer, and vicious blow gives a +1 damage for 3 damage to the Elder Thing, which kills it. That's her first action. Her second action is to spend a charge off of the mineral specimen to do an investigate at the base value of 5. see what she gets. So she's 5 against 4. 5 against 4. Minus X, which is 0. Oops. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, minus 4. So she's not successful. Okay, it was worth a stab. That was her second action. Her third action, she's going to spend some of her resources. She's going to spend 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. To replace guard dog with a queener. I don't think it's required at this point, but it might be handy to have her in. So guard dog goes. I do have another guard dog in hand if things go a bit peaked on. So that was her third and final action. Right, Monty is going to go. First action is going to be move up to be with Daniela. Second action is to investigate. So he is currently 4, 5 with the magnifying glass. He's going to go to 6, chucking in the no in. So 6 versus 4. No, hang on. Oh, bugger. Oh, I've really cocked this up. No, I'm going to be a bit cheeky here and do a bit of hot tub time machine. I'm going to keep guard dog in play. Sorry, my apologies. I can't afford to do this, so I hadn't actually gone with Monty. 4 in play. Put guard dog back in play. Guard dog's back in play. My apologies. Her third action is going to be to move down to the windswept path because she doesn't want to be there in the polar vortex because otherwise it would just wipe a lot of her stuff out. So my apologies for that. I have caught it. So that's where we'll leave that. Monty is going to move up for his first action. Second action is going to be to investigate at he is now 5, 6 versus 4. Apologies for that. 6 versus 4. Zero. 6 versus 4. We get it. He's going to take the clue off of there. His third action is going to be to move to the summit. Oops, just caught that. There we go. His third action is going to be to move to the summit, which reveals it. So 3 clues per investigator. Ouch. So 6 clues on there. Come around the other side of the table. And it also says Clues on the summit can only be discovered by investigating. Forced. When the summit is reached, add a ice token to the chaos bag. I'll do that in a second. And then action resign. Add each expedition asset you control to the scenery victory display. Return all of your clues to the clue pool. So let's just grab a token out of my XC bag, LCG bag. There we go. Another token. Add that to the bag. Delightful. Nice to see how many's in there at the moment. Okay, right. His fourth action is to investigate. 6 versus 3. 6 versus 3. Six versus 3. -1, of course. Loads of these in here now. -5. So that's -6. So he fails. Ouch. Yeah, you can see why this is going to get a bit difficult. Okay, that was his fourth action. Okay. That's it for the investigation phase. We move on to the enemy phase. There are no enemies in play. We move on to the upkeep phase. We ready all of our cards. We get our actions back. We get a resource. Loads of resources. We draw a card. So Monty is going to get a field work. And Daniela is going to get a survival knife. That's it for the upkeep phase. I think we're fine for cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Daniela. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Monty. We're all good. We move into the mythos phase. We put a doom on the agenda. We're at 6 of 8. Polar Vortex goes. And then we draw a card for Monty. Monty is going to get hanging on the ledge, on the edge. Test agility 3. If you fail, take 2 damage. Lose control of each expedition asset and move directly below you. Well, I don't want to fail this. So 5 versus 3 at the moment. 5 versus 3. I'm going to chuck in 2 hiking boots to take me to 7 versus 3. Yep, 7 versus 3, we'll take that. 7 versus 3. -1. -3. So -3 in total. -2 and -1. So we pass. We don't fall. Daniela is going to draw hers and she's going to get a hypothermia. Test willpower 3. If the level of your location is 4 or 5, reveal an additional chaos token. If you fail, add either 1 frost token to the chaos bag or 1 horror for each point you fail by. So willpower is 4 versus 3. What's she got in hand? Okay. She will chuck in a mechanic's wrench because it's got a wild card symbol on it to take her to 5. She'll chuck in an Aquina to take her to 6. 6 versus 3. Got nothing else I can chuck in there. 6 versus 3. 6 versus 3. -2. We pass. Right. We are good to go. We are good to go. Okay. We go on to the investigation phase. What's Monty got in play? I think we just need to grab as many clues as we can. 4 versus 3. It's going to be difficult. First things first, I'm going to go with Monty. And as a free action, he's got his spare parts. It says, free action, spend 1 supply and exhaust spare parts. Add 1 supply to another asset that you... Another asset to your location. Or choose another investigator location to gain a resource. Well, mineral supplies oh, she's not in the same location. Forget that. Forget that. Forget that. Okay. Let's go with Daniela first. 2 actions to move up to the summit. She can't really do anything else. 3rd action, she's going to draw a card. See what she gets. Overpower. Okay. It's all on you, Monty. This could be difficult. 4. Nothing in hand. Well, first of all, let's get some hospital debts sorted out. So I'm going to put 2 resources as 2 free actions onto hospital debts. Nearly forgot about that. And then his first proper action is going to be to investigate at 4 versus 3. 4 versus 3. I'm going to spend a resource off of Avery to cancel that token and reveal a new one. So that's a 0. Sorry. So we cancelled that with Avery. We've done a 0, so we pass. So we get a clue. Second action, to investigate again. We can't do that again because we've actually exhausted Avery. So we'll draw 4 versus 3 and we get a -1. We draw another token. Auto fail. Third action. Investigate at 4 versus 3. 5 versus 3, I should say, with magnifying glass. 5 versus 3. Oops. -4. Fourth action. 5 versus 3. -1. Oh, you're joking me. Seriously. Seriously, game. Auto fail. Same bloody thing. Twice on the trot. Okay. That is it for the investigation phase. We move on to the enemy phase. There aren't enemies in place. We move on to the upkeep phase. We ready everything. We gain our actions back. We gain a resource and we draw a card. Draw a card. Monty is going to get Pathfinder. Not great. Daniela is going to get Taliki. Okay, we need to remember Blasphemous Visions here as well. Discard 1 card at random from your hand. Okay. So just give it a bit of a shuffle up. Cut. There. And we're going to discard Survival Knife. And then it says Blasphemous Visions. Resolve the effects of each Taliki weakness you draw an additional time. So again, second card. That one is an overpower. Place the Taliki at the bottom of the Taliki deck. So that's gone. Okay. Not great. Not great. So that's it for the upkeep phase. We're going to go into the Mythos phase. We go to 7 of 8. 7 of 8. And then we draw a Mythos card. We're going to get, for Monty is going to get a Blasphemous Visions. Comes into play. Shuffle the top card of the Taliki deck into your deck. So that's the top card. Oh, apologies. That's the top card of the Taliki deck. It's going to go into his deck. Cat Weasel cut. Not many cards left. And then the card for Daniela is going to be Through the Ice. Attached to the nearest copy as an additional cost to enter or leave. We've got to test agility. Well, I don't think we're going to be going too far. So that will come into play there. Like that. That wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad. Right. Daniela really can't help. Oh, I could have spent the miasmic crystals on stopping him from getting it, but I forgot about that. So Daniela's going to go first. She can investigate 1. That's not going to be any help at all. So first things first, she's going to spend an action and spend the last remaining secret off William Dyer, who's going to remove 2 horror. Actually, he's going to remove 1 and 1 from Avery. Says another ally at your location, which they are. That was her first action. Second action, she's going to draw a card. What's she going to get? Oh, bloody hell. Place one of your clues on your location. There we go. That's there. Goes to the bottom of the deck. Why did I draw that bloody card? Oh, actually, hang on. I literally just said it 2 seconds ago. Let's take that back. Put that back there. We'll spend one charge to cancel the effect of that. Literally just said it. So we'll cancel that. Put it on the bot. And I get to draw a card. When the investigator your location draws a leaky weakness, spend one charge, which I did. That investigator cancels the effect of that weakness and places it. So we're going to draw a card. Fast. Play after you would defeat an enemy. Draw one clue at your location. Oh, it's too late. We're too late. I don't think we're going to do it. I've got to get 5 clues off, and I've got four actions to be able to do it. I don't think there's anything in his deck that can give him additional clues. Daniela has got 1 action left. So she will spend her action. She'll play evidence, but just to not use the thing, because we're not defeating an enemy. She's going to give herself an additional 2. So it is 3 versus 3. It is 3 versus 3. And she gets a -1. Doesn't really matter now. A +1. Oh. Okay. Right, so that's 0. 3 versus 3. She gets a clue. Bloody hell. Bloody bugger me. So it literally is all down to Monty now. With 4 actions to get 4 clues. He is 5 versus 3. And I've got no cards. Pathfinder's got an agility. Fieldwork's got an agility. Fieldwork's got an agility. And Backstab's got a fight and agility. So, this is it. This is what it comes down to. First of all, he's going to spend 2 free actions, bugger, to put 2 onto hospital debts. That's really annoyed me, that. I'm not going to have got that. I'm going to earn 2 fewer less experience. Damn it. Anywho. So, we are going first action. He is 5 versus 3. 5 versus 3. That's -1. So we do get it. We do get it. I need an action to resign as well. Anyway, let's keep going. So we get the clue. We get the clue. 5 versus 3. That was his first action. His second action. 5 versus 3. -1. 0. He gets it. Put those back in the bag. Third action. Third action. -1. Zero. Okay. Fourth and final action. I am shuffling these up. He's going to get a -4, which he fails. 5 versus 3, he fails. So that is it for the investigation phase. 1 clue left on the summit. Enemy phase. There are no enemies in play. We then move on to the upkeep phase. We gain a resource, we reset all of our actions. I think this is pretty pedantic at the moment, or not really required, but we'll do it. Monty is going to get his actions back, and Monty's going to draw a card. He gets an in the know, which does give him a pip. Daniela is going to get a lucky. Nice. A lucky. That's it. Hand sizes are all good. That's it for the upkeep phase. We then move on to the mythos phase. We put our last doom to take us to 8, which does trigger the agenda. So we turn it over, see what we get. The snowfall is so thick that you can no longer see your destination, nor can you hear your companion shouts over the howling wind. Every step takes the breath out of you. The air is so thin up here, it's a wonder you haven't have any breath to spare. You glance up at the blanket of white cast in an endless net overhead. Perhaps you were never close to the summit. I was at the bloody top. Just another trick of the eye, like everything else in this godforsaken place. If 1 or more investigators have resigned, proceed to R1, otherwise proceed to R2. Well, we're going to be reading R2. Let's get our R2 out. Resolution 2. Okay. Just as you are beginning to lose hope, you find a dark cave embedded in the mountainside. The wind howls outside the cave entrance, bringing with it a sudden deluge of snow. You're not sure what would be worse, a slow death trapped inside an icy cavern, or an equally slow one failing to reach the summit. But when one of your companions switches on their flashlight, you realise there may be a third option. The walls of this narrow tunnel are covered in strange hieroglyphics, the likes of which you've never seen. The ancient writings of an alien language, you presume. Perhaps even that of the elder things who once called this region home. More importantly, the cavern continues deeper and deeper into the side of the mountain, far beyond the reach of your light. You take a vote and decide to press onward, hoping beyond hope that the tunnel might take you to another exit. To your surprise, the journey is smooth, although the ever-present darkness, the frightening echoes of uncanny groans, and the muffled voices of something deep below wear upon your sanity. For hours you continue on, until finally, mercifully, you see the light at the end in the distance. You emerge once more onto the side of the mountain, this time a breathtaking vista. Sprawled before you lies the city described in Dyer's reports. Its haunting visage is unmistakable. Dozens of conical and pyramidal buildings of dark slate and sandstone are honeycombed throughout the region like a labyrinth of perfect geometric shapes. Though withered by the ages, the city stands hidden by the jagged peaks and the heavy snow. For a while you stand in silence and take in the wondrous sight. Somehow you've managed to find a way through the mountain. If it weren't for the many trials you faced along the way, it would be a moment of triumph. But after the sacrifices made to get here, the victory rings hollow. After a moment's rest, you begin the long trek down into the alien city. You will have to make your camp before reaching the bottom. With any luck, you'll be hidden from the dreadful creatures there that dwell below. Okay. In your campaign log, record that you found another way through the mountains. Okay. Found another way through the mountains. Each investigator earns experience equal to the X value of each card in the victory display. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because they didn't get the summit, but there's 6 experience. But Monty only gets 4 because he didn't pay his hospital debt, so he's at 4. So Danny's got 6 and Monty's got 4. Cross off each card titled in the supplies recovered section of the campaign log. Okay, so with supplies recovered, we'll cross the spare part, miasmic crystals and mineral specimen. In the expedition team section, record the amount of damage and horror on each partner asset. So actually, they started. No, Dyer's only got 1 horror on him, and Avery has got 1 and 1. Okay, that's fine. Proceed to interlude 2, the endless night. Okay. Endless night. Once again safe, you and your companions set up camp in silence. You marvel at how much quieter the evening is compared to those that came before, be it due to your dwindling numbers or the grim mood that hangs over the camp. But the quiet is anything but peaceful. As the hours pass, you can't seem to get any rest. You decide instead to check on your companions. You only have enough time to check on a few team members, regardless of whether they are alive or crossed out. One at a time, choose and read 3 of the sections below. 4 if the team found another way through the mountains. If the game effect of the chosen section cannot be performed, it does not count towards this total, and you may choose another section instead. After you've read the appropriate number of sections, proceed to Endless Night number 2. Okay, the first one. We will go with William Dyer because he's alive and I've been using him. So it says the professor paces back and forth, running his fingers through his greying hair. They are connected. They must be connected, he rambles to himself as you approach. The elder things and these manifestations, these mirages, he continues, as if to answer your unspoken question. When we were here last, I saw the images of elder things in conflict with another species, other alien beings. What if the true source of their fear lies here on Earth? His gaze meets yours. What if this wasn't their true home? What if they were guarding something? Speaking with Professor Dyer helps you see reason within the madness. Any one of your investigators may choose and remove up to 5 Taliki weaknesses from their deck. Well, I think, let's have a look to see how many. None in there. 1, 2. So we'll choose Monty. He had 2 Taliki weaknesses in his deck, so those are going to come out. Put them there. That's his deck, so those can go back in the Taliki deck. So that's the first one done. Avery, let's find him because we've been using Avery. Avery Claypool is alive. We'll read this one. You find Claypool at the edge of the camp looking out over the alien city. Remarkable, isn't it? You nod and mention that the architecture is unlike anything you've seen before. No, not that, I mean. That too, but look, he points to the enormous peaks looming around the city in every direction, like a boundary. It's built to block and funnel the wind. They choose precisely the right place to build their city. And the way these structures and streets are built, they're mostly protected from excess snowfall. He glances at you meaningfully before continuing. These creatures chose the harshest place on earth to make their home, and despite all odds, they thrived. You wonder if perhaps this means the inclement weather you face thus far will abate during the next leg of your journey. Unlikely, he responds. A lot of natural safeguards they built into their city seem to have weathered away, and there's likely a lot more ice than there would have been back in their time. But I'll make sure we avoid the nastiest of it. Claymore's predictions help you stay safe in the inclement weather. Remove one frost token from the back. We will blinking well do that. That can come out. Who else? We've got two more to read. Who else is alive? Amy Kensler. Okay, I will choose. I'm going to choose Kensler because she's the leader. If Dr. Amy Kensler is alive and Dr. Kensler is sharing her research with you, let's just make sure. I've recorded in the campaign log. Yes, Dr. Kensler is sharing her research with me. So we'll read this. Dr. Kensler is unsurprised when you enter her tent. She looks up from her desk and tilts her glasses down to gaze at you directly. Here to inquire after my feelings, she asks, to which you nod. Very well. You note her unusual warm demeanour as you approach and peer over her shoulder. In front of her, a section of one of the elder thing's limbs is dissected with expert precision. Dark green liquid stains its scaly flesh and the surface beneath it alike. She raises her glasses once again and turns to face her anatomical sample. It's not unlike us, she says, just as Dyer suggested in his own account, and yet somehow they're able to survive incredible pressure and cold, perhaps even the vacuum of space. What I don't understand is, she breathes deep and continues, Dyer reports only accounts for the waking of a few of these creatures from their hibernation. Why then are so many of them active? Dr. Kensler's research allows you to view the situation with greater clarity. Record in your campaign log, Dr. Kensler is on the verge of understanding. Well, that sounds good. Dr. Kensler is on the verge of understanding. So that was our third one. We get to choose a fourth one. Who else is alive? Takada Hikaru. Let's have a look and see what Takada Hikaru says. Okay, we'll read that one. She is alive. The teen's interim quartermaster is in the middle of counting something when you accost her. She curses as she loses count. Do you have any idea how long it took me? She stops and rolls her eyes. Her next question is drilled in an exasperated monotone. What do you want? You inform Takada that you would like to requisition some supplies for tomorrow's journey into the alien city. Oh, you would you? She sighs. Yeah, that's fine, but don't take anything in that pack. She motions to a backpack brimming with spare aeroplane parts and provisions. It's a long story. She answers your unspoken question and the end of that discussion. Takada ensures you're better equipped for the next leg of the journey. Any one investigator may begin scenario 3, City of the Elder Things, with 3 additional resources. Take that and make a note of that. Where can we do that? City of the Elder Things. One investigator starts with +3 resources. Okay. Okay, that's that bit. I've received Endless Night number 2. Endless Night 2. You try in vain to sleep, but the night seems to go on forever. Your thoughts meander endlessly in a maze of worry and doubt. If you've already played Scenario Fatal Mirage this campaign, proceed to Endless Night 3. Otherwise, check the expedition section of the campaign log. If there are 3 or more names crossed out, skip to Endless Night 4. There are 3 names crossed out: Danforth, Cookie and Elia. So we go to Endless Night 4. Just as you are finally beginning to drift off, a vague threat in the corner of your mind startles you into action. You reach instinctively for a weapon to defend yourself, and when you peer about, nothing is out of place. In fact, you rise to your feet, shocked, and examine your surroundings. Your makeshift camp was protected from the harsh elements, but still deep in the Antarctic wilderness. And yet you find yourself indoors, in a hall that you cannot place, though it seems familiar to you. You brush aside some of the snow that still lingers on the ground around your sleeping bag, noting a tiled floor that wasn't there before. A dream? As you doubt the truth of this mysterious place, the walls and the tiled floors shimmer and fade. You're left back in the freezing cold camp, surrounded by your companions, except the door leading out of the hall still remains. Thick grey mist swirls around you, guiding you onwards. There is no natural refraction of light. Something supernatural is at work. The thick miasma that churns around your camp is not unlike the substance that makes up the nightmarish creatures you encountered after your plane crashed. Do you really want to know what it wants you to see? The investigators choose one, must decide. Open the door and venture into the mirage. Proceed to the fatal mirage scenario, or ignore the door and allow it to vanish. I think I'm going to ignore that. Doesn't sound delightfully intense, but it does say I'm going to ignore the door to allow it to vanish, and I'm going to proceed to scenario 3, City of the Elder Things. And in brackets, you will get this chance later again. So we are going to move on to scenario 3, City of the Elder Things. I will have a look at XP and stuff for the investigators, and I'll bring those up when we start the next scenario. I hope you've enjoyed this one. This was one that's been slightly longer than an hour, but there was no point in coming back to finish it off. Annoyed. One clue from the end to get a really decent result, but we've still got 6 experience for Daniela, 4 experience for Monty, and we'll look to move on to the City of the Elder Things next time. Hope you're enjoying the scenario. Hope you're enjoying the campaigns. Hope you're enjoying the new format. Please let me know what you prefer. That will really be helpful going forward. But on that note, I'll pack away, spend some XP, and get ready for the City of the Elder Things. Take care. See you all soon. Bye.